check. Everyone hear me? There's Bob.
So I can
Mike,
hear
you're booted already.
I know.
You're booted. I'm sorry. All right, give me a minute, you guys. I'm gonna talk to our audience. Welcome back, everybody, to the Attitude for Gratitude weekly live podcast. We are starting off with some big hitters tonight. We got Ray, MJ, and Bob will be joining us here after I open up and turn off this music. I always forget about the music. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 2520 North 2nd Street. That's where we have this podcast. That's where we have American Pie Pizza bring in some eats during the podcast. They're not really a sponsor, but they're a partner of ours. His family runs American Pie Pizza, and they bring food in for us, and we just enjoy ourselves. You guys who are under the sound of my voice know what this show is about. We talk about recovery. We talk about people's story in the rooms of recovery. And we share this stuff. Let's give it away. That said, like, anyone out there hurting tonight or struggling, like, just reach out, listen to what these people that I'm talking to have to say and how they did it, and it's here for the taking. Come on down to 2520 North 2nd Street, and you can get a piece of it too. As you see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen, that's kind of like right now that's current what I have, but there's much more. Give me 1 second here. We're trying to share this. What I'd like you guys to do is, if you find this podcast, you share it. And we share it with everyone under the sounds of our voice. And there we go. And then if you're in the room listening, we want to turn our phones down a little bit. And I can't multitask. Boys, don't go far. You're on next. And that's that. I'm trying to multitask, and you guys know I am no good at it. So with that, we will get started here quick. Again, if you're struggling, just please reach out. You're worth this recovery. It's free for the taking. Every day of the week, we've got meetings down here at 2520 North 2nd Street. But you're going to hear us talking about places like New Hope and Fridley-Alano, and places like 2218 and spirituality spots like Serenity Village and like Eagle Brook. We do not like hoard our recovery. We share about it. It's here for the taking. Wherever you can find it, go get it. So that said, we're going to start bringing in some of our peoples. Young man, who are you?
My name is Raymond. I'm an addict alcoholic.
Yes,
Ramondo.
you are. Welcome to the show. Young lady, who are you?
Hi, I'm MJ, and I'm an alcoholic.
Welcome back to the show, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob S., and I'm living the dream.
Welcome, all three of you, to the show. Young man, we'll start with you because you have been lurking in the podcast room for months now, and you have avoided it. We're going to make this tough right away. Why have you not been on the show yet?
Why have I been avoiding you?
Why have you not been on the show yet?
That's another
The
way
truth
to put
comes out. I love honesty.
Because I am nervous.
Okay.
That is why.
I'm going to be an ass
And
real
it's
quick.
okay to be
Yes.
nervous.
What was
Quite
it like
okay.
when you're out in the street trying to hook up with some dope? Were you nervous then? No, I know I'm being an ass. Here, let me real quick explain something.
That's a valid question.
No, there's people who listen to the show that aren't in recovery or who are thinking about being in recovery. So some of the questions, you're going to be like, Tim, you know I know that answer. But answer me honestly, like, were you nervous to go up to the new dope man to get some dope?
Well, whether I was nervous or not, I did it.
Exactly.
Word.
And I know you've heard this before, like, we got to treat our recovery that way. So not saying, oh, this is going to keep you clean, but you have something to share. And with that, I want to know, what do you do here at Will Work for Recovery?
What do I do at Will Work for Recovery?
Yeah, what kind of service commitments, if you have any, or what do you do here on the regular?
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I stay late. I take out garbage. I run, vacuum. I do anything that I can do. And Saturday, I chair the Saturday night speaker meeting.
What is the
Walking.
Saturday night speaking? Like, break it all down for us, that.
It's a walk and talk at 7 o'clock. You come down, you share your hope, strength, and experience with everyone in the room, and it's a fantastic time.
You can have some candy. Go ahead. All right. So, you've been doing that for how long now? You took it over for Squid?
Yep, in December, the end of December.
Thanks for doing that.
Yes. Have you done the walk and talk yet?
No, I have not.
Guess what?
I got, so
Come
when I got David to speak, he made me put myself on my own list because he said I cannot pull that shit and not do it myself. So next weekend is my day.
I got those from Jessica. Jess gave me a bunch of these little ninjas, so I
Nice.
taped them up.
Those are
All right.
cool.
That wasn't so tricky. Now just chill out. MJ, how long have you been doing recovery?
A few days at a time.
I love it. When did you first walk into the rooms?
When? 1994.
Whoa. Bob, you?
1996.
Okay. Did you get it right when you walked in? Like, you've been clean and sober since day one?
My nickname was Retread. It took me over 2.5 years of relapsing over and over again to figure out that all I had to do was suit up, show up, and close my mouth and listen to what's being said and try to emulate that in my life, which I wasn't doing.
So it took a few tries or in and outs.
Yes, it did. I was the In-N-Out burger boy.
And do you have a higher power that helps you with your recovery today? And if so, what's that like? What's it look like?
Abso-frickin-lutely.
Could you tell our audience what that's like or what that looks like for you?
What is that like? Oh my gosh, I would not be able to survive on a day-to-day basis if I did not have a higher power, whom I choose to call God, and I lean into my higher power a lot to get me through emotions, to get me through just life in general. It's amazing, and it is totally amazing, and the reliance upon God is a whole different way to live, which I relied on myself a lot, in life. That's what got me here.
Right.
Because I relied on myself
Right.
so many times, and that didn't work. And when I found God reliance worked, it was just like, oh my gosh, the angels sing, I mean, yeah, no, it took some work to get there, but it's been an amazing journey.
So like I was telling Ray, like I'm going to ask questions that, of course, to us, it's kind of a no-brainer. We know these answers, but there are people that aren't sure about it. I'm glad to have you on because I know you are a strong woman in recovery and you work with a lot of other women. What's the benefits to a woman finding other women in the program?
Oh my gosh. So as I was told when I came in that a guy will pat your ass and a woman will save your ass.
You hear that? Any women in here?
Word, brother.
God will pat your ass and women will save it.
A guy will pat your
I
ass
meant-
and
I said God, I'm sorry. I meant
and a girl will save your ass.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, well, for
That's a
me,
good one.
going to a women's meeting was really very, oh my gosh, for me it was really intense because I felt like I was being judged all the time by the
Right,
women, and I felt like I didn't fit in, and I felt like there's cliques, but it's only because I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I was not comfortable being around women. I mean, you can smile at a guy, and you can, you can have some nice little conversations with the boys and whatever, or hang with the boys because that's you do the stuff that they do or whatever. But to get into women's groups and to actually have women friends and just to hook into that for me has been just an amazing, wow.
You know
It's
what?
just been beautiful.
And
Go ahead.
Bob, I want to kind of just dive right into the same thing with you because I had an experience when I first found Squad 20. That was the 2 years into recovery. It was the first time I found a men's meeting.
Sure.
They called it a stag meeting, and everything changed for me. Do you feel there's a kind of the same importance for a man to find?
Oh, most definitely. That's why I floundered around for the 3 years. I was called it didn't work, but yeah, I knew there was something there, so I kept it around. And next thing I know, I was able to stay focused on the not drinking part for the first 5 years, but there was something missing. I was heading for another relapse. I know I was, and a lot of us miss the spiritual side of the connection with something greater than ourselves, and that's why self-reliance fails us.
Always.
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 Not sometimes, always.
I think you hit it on the head. Self-reliance is what
It's
us
exactly,
here.
that's why I said, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to piggyback on what she was saying is because self-reliance failed me all the time, not sometime, all the time.
Right.
And then I would wonder why this thing didn't work. And then once I started relying on something greater than myself and then developing a relationship with that thing, which I choose to call myself, my God is not your God, and your God is not mine, and my higher power is not yours. But the bottom line, it's mine. I work hard to get that relationship and build that relationship and continually strengthen that relationship. And my life exponentially got better. Didn't get easier. I'm not going to say that life gets easier. There are lulls in between things, but we spend our life in 3 phases. Dealing with the situation, just getting through that situation, or right before the situation happens.
Right.
And what we do in between, Mary Jo was saying there's something cool today. Is she says, what's important is the dash in between our born on dates.
Our birthday and
Right.
our death date.
Yeah, that's
And the most important is the dash that's in between born on date and the end date. And the truth of the matter is, what are you going to do with it? And you can use that to be beneficial to And that's what my higher power connection, the strength of it has taught me, is that the bottom line is if I keep working on and keep strengthening that, the way that I deal with situations that come at me, I can handle them. Well, he handles them.
There you go. There
He
you go.
handles them for me,
Right.
so that I don't have to. So that's how cool that shit is. I no longer have to be running the rat race, trying to figure out what in a lie I'm going to tell next, or how to get by on a situation. And the truth of the matter is if I turn it all over to the situation, over to my higher power, it goes the way that it needs to go, and I accept it for what it is, and then we move forward from there. That's the importance for me.
So
Amen to
without,
that.
yeah, and without like, I'm not gonna air business. What I'm gonna say is, I know you, anyone who's listening who knows MJ and Bob knows like you guys have dealt with some life. Life has shown up. Life doesn't stop just because we decided to get into recovery. And you just said that, like it's not all up, it's not all downhill and easy. But because when life shows up, you now know how to handle it.
Right.
And that's because of a higher power, and that's what you rely on.
Yep, it's acceptance. God teaches me acceptance, and
Absolutely.
yeah, and to live in the solution and not bitch about the problem, because we can all bitch, but guess what? The problem's still there.
Ray, we can all bitch, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you have have you figured out a higher power thing yet, or where are you at?
So I know I haven't defined my higher power, and I don't know if I ever will.
Right, you're right. You're
Hit it
exactly
on the
right.
head. My higher power doesn't look like yours, or you get that. That's what this thing has given me. But go ahead, keep going.
So I that part was like the hardest part for me, and that's what over the years, that's what I've used as my excuse to ditch this whole scene. Where it's like, oh, this is all God, this is a cult, da 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 da. These guys are full of
Kumbaya,
shit.
mofo.
Yeah, I'm out.
Right.
And then that didn't work out so well, time and time again. So I just came into it with a different attitude. You know, I don't know what God is necessarily in my life. I haven't figured it all out yet. But I just every morning I pray. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. Sometimes I know I'm not. I just know that following other people's leads on this has been beneficial for me.
And that's good. That's what we need to do. We need to learn from each other. We learn to lift each other up, but we also learn from each other. So the bottom line is, I don't care how much time you got or one days that you've got. The bottom line is, someone has a message. We all have a message, and the bottom line is we learn from it.
I mean, and you hit on the head. You hit a few things on the head. You said shit wasn't working for me, and you became willing.
Right.
You became willing. Like, you don't know what you're talking to. And Bob said it too. This is a guy who's been here for more than 124 hour. It gets to be whatever you want. Whatever you choose to do, and you're still hitting your knees every day.
Right.
And you're still clean, right?
And I'm still clean.
And you're doing service work, right?
Awesome.
I do as much service work as I can possibly do in my schedule.
What do you say when someone comes up to you and they're like, I'm struggling, Ray? Like, I want to use. What do you say to them?
Well, I haven't had a lot of people, so I've had some people outside of these rooms ask me, like I'm struggling, I'm straight all the time, this and this and this, and I just try to get them to just come here with an open mind. Like, it's hard to even talk to people when they're in that situation, because I know I didn't listen to anybody. I didn't want no advice.
Right.
I wanted advice, but I wanted it to be what I wanted to hear.
So what I used to do is people would say, you know, I'm struggling and stuff, and I go, you know what? I know exactly how you feel, but I ain't going to tell you what you need to do, because guess what? I can't tell you what you need to do.
I can tell you what I've done.
Right.
I can tell you
So
what.
Good answer.
I will say what I'm doing.
Right.
Attaboy.
If you want what I have, you can do what I
And
did.
So for
Right.
me, like for this time around, I came into this listening to everything that people have been telling me all these years that I needed to do, and I didn't do it. And if I wasn't deep into this, doing service work as much as possible with my Saturday commitments, finding speakers for that, and having friends that I found here, I feel 3 weeks ago I probably would have relapsed.
See? I mean, and you see that. You see the direct result of your service work.
Well, yeah,
It's keeping you busy and keeping you engaged with something.
right.
So now I'm going to do something. You two just Be comfortable. This show is called Attitude for Gratitude, and you're gonna be pissed because down the road you'll be like, I want to this and that, but you will be back. Will you come back on?
Yeah.
All right. The name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. Talk to us about your gratitude, and then I'm kicking you off.
About my gratitude. So I struggle with that sometimes too. I'm grateful that I'm employed. I'm grateful that I'm sober. I'm grateful to have these new friends that I found here that hold me accountable. They call me if I'm not around. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm grateful that my kids are super happy about this.
That's the audience clapping because your kids are in your life and
Yeah.
happy you're doing recovery.
Yeah, it's
Word.
cool. I'm grateful for all of that, and I'm grateful to take out the trash right here and just do it, and that holds me.
That's a blessing.
It
You get
grounds
to
me.
do that. You don't have to do it. You get
Get
to
to.
do that.
I look forward to coming here and
No,
doing these
like
things.
this is where I'm always quick to be like, could you imagine 6 years ago? Would you been excited to take the trash out at a recovery center?
No, I would have felt like everyone was judging.
I would have been digging through the trash to see what I could eat.
Right?
Or what I could steal or find. but-
Right, or sell, yeah.
Like Ray, I'm gonna have you go grab Ashley and put her on. But
Yeah.
Ray, I appreciate you getting a little vulnerable, coming on here, sharing a
Nice
little
to meet
bit.
you, Raymondo.
Yeah, nice to meet
Good
all of
I'm
you.
just
job,
easing you
Ray.
in because you're coming back in for like a half hour next time.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Ashley, batter's up.
Ashley, you're up.
All right, would you like to hop on?
Popped his cherry.
Yeah, Raymond, we popped your cherry.
Yeah.
Pop
Good
my
job.
cherry.
Just get back on. You're good.
All right.
We don't need diversity quite
We
yet.
need diversity, dude.
I'm joking. I just don't want to put him on and then boot him when Ashley's ready. So, Bob and MJ, you guys have been on this show before, and you guys were on back when we were at 2218.
Yeah.
Something's crackling really bad. I'm listening to it's tricky. I got a 5-second delay, and I listen to the show to make sure we don't mute out.
Well, people don't know it, but I was in on the first meetings of this place even being in of existence.
We'll work for
With,
recovery.
with
Tell
Paul
us
and
about
Carolyn.
your evolution with Will Work for Recovery.
So what happened is, I used to ride motorcycle quite a bit, and there was a group of us that rode motorcycles, and that's how I came across Paul and Carolyn, my wife and I, and we formed a pretty cool bond with these two people, and that's what's the neat thing about recovery. You meet people who would not normally mix, and the truth of the matter is, the blessings of these miracles of these relationships that you form in recovery are. It's indescribable, undescribable, and you can say, the only way you can put it together is saying it's a miracle.
Paul's one of the guys you speak to basically daily, right?
Yep,
Still.
yep, a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul and I still stay connected quite a bit, and I remember being in the first few meetings of how and what they were going to try to accomplish with what they wanted to do with this Will Work for Recovery place, and it started in a little church over in South Minneapolis, just off of by Electric Fetus there off of Franklin and
I didn't know that.
and Third Avenue, yeah. And there was like 8 of us there,
Okay.
and we went around. Paul and Carolyn kind of went around and told us what their vision was, and then what any of us could help to provide. So I was more than willing. I worked for a school district, and I was more than willing to be able to borrow some equipment if I needed to here and there, and then provide my services of any kind of. I was a maintenance technician for a school district, so I do plumbing, electrical, janitorial, any and all of those kinds of things. So when they first got this new place over here, I came in and with Paul and I cleaned this place out and pretty much scrubbed all of the floors, threw a bunch of carpets down, dragged a bunch of furniture from whoever would do it.
And MJ did too.
Yeah, I don't remember if she was
Oh,
here.
I
No,
wasn't sure.
she wasn't.
She's just enjoying it. Okay. I wasn't
No,
sure.
but that's the way I am with these
I know,
relationships
yeah.
with the men that I.
You're
that I
all
meet.
in.
I am. You have to be
Yep.
if you want. I get more joy out of providing and giving services that God has blessed me with my talents to be able to share those with others, and the cool thing is, I've learned to not want anything in return because the stuff that comes back to me is beyond measure. You can't put a dollar amount. Happiness is what I feel when I'm able to do that. So it was a really cool part. And then they got so big, they ended up moving over to the other side of this joint. and I did some stuff over there. So I'm kind of a behind the scenes guy. I do I do whatever Paul needs when he needs it, and it's a cool thing to be able to help
Well, and,
him and
and we are
Carolyn.
moving to another bigger spot even.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
so
So that's what I've heard. Paul and I talked about that last week, so I stay pretty connected with them.
it's
And
going on the
Ashley
wall.
knows how to stay in the fucking lines finally.
Yeah.
That a
It's
girl.
going on the wall too, babe.
Go there.
Girlfriend knows how to color. So
Yeah, you
yeah.
know what? Recently, we were able to, me and Brandon were able to help someone out with
yep,
something.
another
and,
one of our friends in recovery.
And I reached out to him after, and we are proud people. I get that. And when we need, whatever the case is, I got to reach out and explain, like, hey, thank you for letting us help. You
Right.
know- and I said in the message, you know what it's like to be able to help someone.
Right.
And I think that helped turn it around because he said that. Because he's one of the guys who always helped. You know,
Oh yeah,
he helped
without
everyone.
without question
Yes.
and without for anything in return. And the bottom line is the man was so happy, he was elated and in tears,
Yes.
and he just couldn't thank us enough. And that's what it is
gift.
about. You know, is I get filled when I can help other people.
Yeah.
So my higher power fills my cup.
Come on, Squid. Come on in. We'd love to have you on for right now. Open seat. So that was the one thing that like still surprises me about what helping someone else does for me.
Yep.
I never thought that like I think you worded it best. It fills up my cup.
Yep.
And I've never thought I'd feel good helping someone else
Right.
for nothing.
Right.
I don't need to say who it was or I don't need
My old way of living was, what can I get from you without
Yes.
having to give you anything back? And I need to get as much as I can, as often as I can, until I've used you up, and then I'm done and moving on to the next
use you
deal.
up and spit you out. I didn't. You weren't even a connection to me unless I get something out of you.
Right. Right.
That's just the difference of life from then to now.
Yep. Yep.
And that's why I always say, like, I'm so grateful for the ones that came before me. You guys showed me, the two of you have showed me how to live that way. My predecessors. You say, I've got a few, I got today, yesterday. No, you guys been here my whole 7, 8 years, 6, 5, whatever. Every 24 I've been here, you two have been here. And because of that, I know a better way. And I'm thankful
and that's
for that.
because we were taught the same thing that we give to you, you give back to others, and that's the way this works. If I do not have experience in something, I have no business at all discussing or trying to discuss what I think.
So you can't
Because when
drop-
I
yeah.
think, I can frickin' hurt you.
Yeah, I can kill you with my thoughts.
Yes, I can.
And I can't draw you a map to somewhere I haven't been yet.
Right.
That's
Yep.
the way it was best explained to me was with sponsorship is you can't draw a map to somewhere you haven't been.
Right.
And that's what I'm doing if I'm trying to tell you something I haven't thought. Sponsorship. To talk to us about sponsorship and how important it is in the Rooms of Recovery to sponsor.
You want me to start?
Go ahead. hon.
Are you guys hearing the feed? I'm getting
Yeah,
a crack.
I'm not hearing no feedback.
Not hearing anything
Okay.
either. So sponsorship, it's so important to have that one person that you can actually, that we can all share. Now I hear it.
There we go. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Light it down and let me fix this. I knew it was your jerky mic.
There we go. Oh, Young plugged me, but that's okay because I can keep talking. So anyway, it's really important to have a sponsor, to have someone that takes you through the steps, that is your step coach, that is someone who can, take you. Oh, okay, for me, it's going through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and working those steps. To have somebody to talk to when I do my fifth step and to just vote on that I just did my fourth step, right? To talk about my character defects and say, oh my gosh, look at all these. Now what do I do? There's steps for that. I'm going to go make amends. I need someone to help me process that. To process the amends that I'm going to make. How am I going to make them? Who am I making them to?
Right.
Am I saying the right thing? Am I being self-serving in what I'm going to say to that person? How I'm making the amend?
Right.
And the thing is to get into 10, 11, and 12 of the steps and start sponsoring people in 12. Have that spiritual basis, continue that, and then get to step 12 and say, all right, I send you out now with my blessing
Right.
to go sponsor somebody, to take someone else through the steps, and you don't have to do it alone. bring them to a meeting that does that, that can help you do that.
Right, at
Or
5
we can do it
years.
again.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, a sponsor is somebody who walks beside us, and it even says in the book, we will walk shoulder to shoulder.
Our
I'm not
common
ahead
journey,
of
yep.
I'm not ahead of anybody, and no one's ahead of me. They may have gotten here before I did, but you know what? There's a point to where we start walking shoulder to shoulder, and that's where, like for me, when I sponsor women, I want to be walking shoulder to shoulder with them at some point.
I think that's the blessing of this program. I mean, they talk, you hear it every time at the beginning of a meeting when we read how it works, but that 12 step, it's us giving it back.
Right.
I don't get to just take and walk away.
That's that service part.
Right.
And
Yes.
that's part of our 3 legacies. There's recovery, unity, and service. And the service part of it is really, really key, because when I'm thinking about, whatever crap I've got going on over here, all of a sudden it's like, all right, now go work with somebody. I can talk to somebody about it, but I've got to find a solution, right?
A solution.
And I might not find that solution, but if I go help somebody else, I'm going to feel much better.
Always.
Because I'm not focused on what's going wrong or what is wrong.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fail-safe.
I was sitting at 5 years sobriety, I'll put it to you that way, and I called up my sponsor and I said, hey, there's this Big Book Study in Action work group, and we never really fully went through the steps. Would you be willing to do this with me? And he said, well, for sure.
Yeah.
There was no questions asked. And that's when actually my recovery became a part of my life, to be honest with you. That's when it took on a whole new meaning of what I needed to do in order to recover from this disease of alcoholism and drug addiction. And once I did that, it really taught me that the thing I said a little earlier is if I don't have experience with something, I have no business trying to share my opinion with you, because my opinion will hurt you.
That's what we, yeah.
Right.
Yep,
And
yep.
so when I started learning out facts about what I do, what I can do to recover, and the actions I need to take to recover, and do it with someone else, shit got real. My recovery took on a whole new meaning. And then, like I said, a lot of us miss that spiritual part. And that's when I started developing and having a relationship with my higher power. And things really got cool in walking shoulder to shoulder with men in general in my recovery in those first 164 pages of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's when life took on a whole new meaning, and it was it
kicked
just
it
keeps
into-
getting
yeah,
better.
yep.
It just keeps getting better, and the relationships keep getting better, and miracles keep getting better. So yeah, it's a
Quick
good
shout
thing.
out to William C. for the 2 months sober. Like, congratulations. And John B., our good friend from our squad
Johnny
20,
B.
he said, LOL, your opinion is not the program. He's absolutely right.
Tell
Jake-
that boy I said, ouch.
We speak from the heart on this.
My eye.
And MJ, you worded it the same way it was brought up in our men's meeting once. I think it was Dave. Someone was talking about having an issue with one of their sponsees. This God thing, it's God thing, and he's so worried about 4-step. It was the sponsor talking about it, saying, I'm having such an issue with my sponsee week after week after week. And Dave, John, someone said, did you drink over it? Nope. While you're busy helping someone else, you're not drinking. While you're busy taking someone through the steps, while you're busy sponsoring, you're not resorting back to what life you don't want to live anymore.
Right.
So there's so many different angles to his benefit. Young man, who are you? Get close to that mic.
I'm Chase. I'm an addict.
What up,
Welcome,
Chase?
Hey,
Chase.
Chase.
Chase, this is MJ, and this is Bob.
I know them.
Okay, well, hellos again. So, Chase, you do a lot of things in recovery. Like, you go to a lot of events. You're out and about. You like your motorcycles, dirt bikes, big side-by-sides. What do you do when you go to a big festival and everyone's out there just getting hammered? How do you not fall to that lifestyle again when that's what you're around?
To be honest, I don't really know, but I love to play in the mud and that take the side by sides out there in the 4-wheelers. I don't know, everybody and their brother around me is wasted,
Yeah.
but I just enjoy going out there and beating on the side by side.
But at one time, like, you used to be one of them guys getting
oh,
wasted.
absolutely.
What changed? Why aren't you? Is it just not?
He did. He
We've got to let him get to that
Oh.
conclusion.
But
Yeah,
I got so
changed.
freaking excited.
Oh, I know. But I guess, like, you just went to Rednecks Paychecks down in Texas, and, like, it's a huge mud show, and Mudder, like, I've been to those things, and that's what it is. It's a big beer fest. Like, everyone's getting smashed. How did you get through it? Was it just not, the desire has left you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was in prison for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was.
Whatever
And
it
I did a
was.
lot of work on myself in there. You know, got out, got a job, got a great job. Actually, I got one more class to finish my training for that, 440 some hours or whatever it is.
Awesome. Good luck, man.
So I'm completing that next week. So that's a pretty big step in the right direction.
Hey, listen, real quick. And I'm going to steal your thunder because you don't say it. You also, you've got a connection with a group of guys who are in recovery that,
Yes.
that what, hold you accountable to shit?
If they needed to, yes.
Yeah, they do, Chase. They do. And like,
good.
you have people around you that support you?
Yes.
Okay, like who?
You know. Oh, hey, yeah, this one right here.
He's going to get slapped. Oh, crash.
But I mean, it's just I don't know. Something changed in me while I was in prison. I got a lot of the right tools I needed and got away from it for such a long time. You know, like I've told her, like I don't feel like I was ever really meant for that lifestyle. I was just a product of my environment.
That's right. You were on here a month ago and shared about like you were raised around all this.
Yeah, and like I just ever since. So I don't want to say I'm not an addict, but I haven't had no cravings. Will they come up? I don't know. Maybe.
You've lost the desire to use right now.
I don't. Yeah, I don't
The
think about it.
obsession has been removed.
Now, do I have obsessions with other things? No.
Yes, of course.
Dude,
It's called
You and me
Transfer of
both.
addiction.
yes. Cross addiction. I've never asked you this. Do you have a higher power? What does
Yes.
your higher power look like in your life today?
Oh.
Come on, vulnerability. Talk about it, Chase. If you say Crash is your higher power, bro, I'll meet you at the bar.
My higher power, you know, I guess it's somebody or something I look to. You know, I believe in God for one, or whatever it is. I don't really know. I don't.
It's valid.
that's a
But-
good answer. If you could wrap your head around it, you wouldn't have much of a God.
But it's something I look to, or when I am seeking some kind of help or guidance on something. You know, I don't have any good answers for it, but
That's some of the best answers. You might not know it, but what you're saying is like what people drink over for years because they can't come to that statement. Like to say, I don't know what it is, but it's something greater than myself. Like, don't shun what you're saying, bro. Like you're on the right path.
yep.
Why do you come up here?
Well, for one, I love hanging out with the guys here. You know, I built a good sober community here. Friends, people I ride with out of here, people I hang out with out of here. And coming up here and sharing my story and how I got to where I got, I never thought I'd be sitting in the position I am today with the job I have. With
Right.
it's just, you know, and honestly, I don't take enough time to realize it even. I'm always so busy doing this, that, or that other thing. You know, I've come a long way in the last 3 years, and it didn't happen by itself.
No, you put the work in.
So coming up here, you know, sharing my story, you know, it might help somebody somewhere down the line.
Yes.
That's it.
I don't know how that ended up. It was on the
I
floor
came
on a lanyard
I came here after my work party.
that you didn't get drunk at,
Yep.
but everyone else was.
Yep. I even gave my coworkers a sober ride.
See, that's what we get to do today.
Boom.
Service
we're
work.
blessed.
Service
there you go.
work.
You're blessed, man.
What do you do when someone comes up to you and says, like, dude, I don't want to drink no more, man, and I know you're not drinking. Oh, how can I get what you have?
I mean, I can share what I have and, you know, give them some tools or insight on what I've done to get where I'm at. And, you know, it might be tougher for some others to get to that point, and it might be easier for others. It all kind of depends on where you're at in life or what you got going on.
I've had guys come up to me, hey, man, how much do those meetings cost? And I say, well, you can put $1 in the basket. You can take one out. It's up to you.
I don't suggest anyone take $1 out of the basket if you're hearing this, but no, I get that. Chase, The name of this show is called Attitude for Gratitude. I want to hear all about your gratitude. What are the things you're grateful for? And remember, she's next to you, and you know what she's expecting to hear. But hey, you tell me what your gratitude looks like.
My gratitude, well, for starters, I'm gonna be the most number one thing is for my dad. He was very supportive of me when I got out of prison.
Awesome.
Helped me get on the right track, and that had a big part to play in at where I'm at today. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. He doesn't recognize it, but I do. He's like, I'm just investing in your success. But all the guys here, the guys that call me, invite me to breakfast, motorcycle rides.
Say it.
This one right here put up with a crazy ass
Who's this one?
Stephanie.
Oh, hi, Steph. How are
AKA
you?
Crash.
What up, Crash?
You introduced yourself as Crash tonight, so now it's all game. It's game on. Crash, if you don't mind, tell Chase to move his ass a little so you can get right on. She's got to come to the mic. I got janky set up on this one especially. What's it like having a man who wants to keep coming to a place like this? Like, what's your thoughts on this whole situation? Because you're not in recovery, or are you?
I'm not.
Okay. What's it like? Always like he's like, let's go to Woodwork. What's your feelings on it?
I love it. When I met Chase, I think it was like the first week we were together, he brought me up here, and I had never been to anything like this before. And growing up with addicts and knowing about addiction and recovery and AA
Pretty
meetings
unique.
and stuff like that.
Really unique.
My perspective was always you're sitting in a gym room with fluorescent lights and it's quiet and it's just chairs everywhere and it's,
Right.
boring.
Yep.
So when he first brought me here and I saw the people and the vibe and the room and how everyone was, it was really comfortable, and so I've always supported him for coming here, and
Cool.
I've loved it.
And for not even being an addict, she wants to come back
Yeah.
here.
I
that's-
ask him, sometimes.
That's a cool testament to will work for
Yeah.
recovery. Yes, like a lot of people come up here who are you can benefit in multiple ways being up around people that are looking for this type of life. Is there anything you guys want to add before I tell you to get the hell off the mic? No, serious, like anything you want to add? Okay. Thank you both for coming on. And then
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Brad
so
made
nice
it
to
up.
see you guys again.
And Shorty's here.
Bro.
Belly up, perfect timing. Ken takes back seat, Mike still takes back seat.
Boom.
But I shouldn't have said it that way. Just you're good. My man's holding it down. No, you get on. She can sit next to you here.
Good to see you.
I love you, Chase. I love you, Crash. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you guys.
Chase,
All right.
love you, bro.
Try not to. Here, I'll straighten your mic for you. This one, try not to touch if you don't have to.
What's going on, Rockstar?
Not much.
Who
brother.
are
How
you?
Brad B.
Welcome
Brad
to
B.
the show, Brad.
Brad.
Big
Hi,
Bad
Brad.
Bebop and Bradley B.
You guys out on two wheels tonight?
We are.
Whoa.
Boom.
Yay.
Whoa, good seeing you, little lady. Look at she got her bike boots on.
Boom.
So, Brad, how long have you been at this life of recovery?
Since September 1st, 1998.
Boom.
Whoa.
That's a damn good start.
A day at a time.
As Bobber would say, that's a damn good start.
That's a damn good start.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
came in, and we've been talking about all sorts of stuff, and a higher power keeps coming up, or I keep bringing it up, whatever. Brad, do you have a higher power in your life today? And if so, what's that look like for you to recover?
I do have higher power, and it's the wind.
Okay.
Because I can't explain where it comes from. I can't see it. I can feel it.
Word.
I can see when things are moving across the grass. The wind's blowing it across the grass. But
You're being
but
serious
most
right
of
now,
all-
right?
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
He is.
Most of all, the most important part of it is I can't control it.
The cool thing I heard was a little kid was asked. They asked him, "What do you think of God?" He ain't a think. He's a feel. He's a feel, and
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah,
That was the best way you can describe it. He ain't a think. He's a feel.
That is correct.
Yeah.
How
I had a
does-
snorkel on with that one.
Yeah, we're going deep. We're going deep. Get a shovel.
Get your flippers.
And everyone checking in, Sam and Jay, everyone, John and William, and on YouTube stuff. Thank you guys all. And if you have questions, feel free to post them. These guys might answer them. How do you utilize the wind towards your, for your or what do you do when problems arise in life today? How do you address them?
I get in the wind. It's the most important thing.
Yeah. Don't
And
hide from the wind.
Don't hide from it.
Cool.
You know,
I like this concept.
I feel
I like it.
I feel most at peace when I'm sitting alongside the river. The rapids are moving, the waterfall, the side of the river, and you feel the little breeze coming by. Like that's where I did my first 6-step. I was just at a complete peace.
Awesome.
I like that. We're going to take a real hard left turn, and we're going to start with you, young lady. You can get close to the mic. My question is this. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Any superpower, what would it be?
Come on, share and share alike.
What would your superpower be?
She's why we're here tonight, Tim. Just so you know. I said, you want to go see Tim? She said, yep.
Yeah, that's my girl. Now you got to tell Tim what your superpower would be.
Well, it's a hard one.
Teleportation.
Oh, we've had one other person say that. A lot of people say like, yeah, teleportation. I like it. Brad, superpower. What would it be?
Oh, I want to be able to see into the future.
Ooh, future reader. And then I'm going to enlighten you guys with what some of the things people have said, which have just, I would have never thought of it. MJ, if you could have any superpower. And this is just, you know, it's like, what would you do if you won the lottery? Any superpower, what would it be?
I would like to fly.
Mine. That's been mine every
Fly.
time. Yes.
Yes.
Mine too. Ooh, I love it. What's up, MJ?
Yeah.
Bobber?
Boy, that's deep. You know, I would love to be able to not have to tie another fishing knot the rest of my life.
Just do this.
They would be all connected.
I love you, Bob.
That's a superpower.
I love you, Bob.
Only because he can't find his cheaters today.
Word.
Birch's was to not have superpowers, which kind of was egotistic because I'm like, so you have that many superpowers? I just want nothing. I want to not have no responsibility. So the power of no responsibility. A big one that really hit home was the power to heal someone. That I've had.
That would be.
Yeah, I've had some people on here and it got emotional, and I get it. But the one person was referred, they just lost their dog and said, if I could bring my dog back, I've had so many ups and downs. That's a heavy, heavy question if you think about it.
That is.
And like I say, it's like, what would you do if you won the lottery? We know it's not feasible. Just like if you could change anything, what would it be in your past?
In your past?
In your past, if there's one thing you could change, and we're going to go back around, what would it be?
I know for a fact that the ability to be able to love. I didn't have that ability when I was younger because I didn't have parents growing up. So I was a foster child, and so I was not. It was hard for me to love anything. So the ability to love would be.
MJ, your turn.
What was the question again?
Anything you could change in your past, what would it be?
Anything that I would change in my past.
That list can't be that long, MJ. You got to think that
Oh
hard.
my gosh. I mean, there is a few things.
Mike.
To actually know my biological mother.
Oh.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah. I was adopted, so for me, I always felt like I belonged in the family, but there's always that, knowing where I came from.
Right.
I know I was born in Hennepin County. That's about it.
That's heavy.
I know I have some Native American blood in me.
No.
I mean, like you can't tell, right? Would love to know what my heritage is. So
That is
yeah,
cool. Have you
I
ever
would
thought to
love-
do like what are those called? Mean 23 or 25 and jive or something?
Yeah.
23andMe. That's right. 23andMe.
Thought about it, I never did it.
Seen, I don't know. I've heard so many mixed outcomes
Yeah.
of that type of stuff. I don't know. Brad.
I ain't putting my DNA out there anywhere, man. God only knows how many.
It's already.
It's all right,
Hey,
yeah.
who knows where it's been slapped
We-
around in
right?
your younger days?
100%.
If
I
you
don't
could-
want. I don't want to know how many more kids I got
Right.
out there.
Right. There's frogs named after you.
Do you not know about? No.
There's frogs named after you, son.
Right?
I know about.
She knows about the 8 she knows about.
Technically, if you're including my other ones, I got 15.
If she includes all of her
Whoa.
siblings, she's got 15. Yes.
Anything you would change in your past, Brad? What would it be?
The
have a
ability to
better-
cook a good pancake.
Brad cooks some of the best.
Just teasing.
He cooks some of the best pancakes.
He really does.
Anytime you go to Ride for Recovery at
Yep.
2218,
Yep.
those
The bomb.
delicious pancakes come
Those
from
are
the Brad.
really
I'll gouge. 'cause
Well,
they're
and a
good.
team, and a team.
And a team. Okay, look at that,
There's
Mr.
a team
Modest.
behind
Yeah.
it.
Me.
Yeah, it's you.
No, I can't. I can't say that I would change anything in my past because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be today, and that's all due to my past.
I get it. I'm on the same page, but then I hear stuff like what they just said. But then I also fear, like, and this isn't a lottery question because it's
I
never
love
going to
the fact
happen.
that I can love today.
Right. But I think if I was able to, would I have not found the path I ended up finding and being where I'm at today? Right. Because I don't want, in fear of, like, if I could, I wouldn't be here. But like I say, I always end that with, like, doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. Okay.
Now, the answer to that question has changed many times over the years,
Every 15 minutes.
right? Because I mean, there's some things in my past that I wish I hadn't done. Some horrible things in my history I wish I hadn't done, but they are part of who I am today. And why is that? I don't know. I don't know why I made those choices and made those decisions. But today I gotta own them and clean my side of the street the best of my ability and move forward with it.
Clean house, trust God, help others. What does that mean to you, MJ?
Clean house. Gotta take the garbage out. You gotta get rid of all those things in your life that got you to where you ended up in the program. Right?
Somebody else ain't doing that for you?
Oh heck no! No, there's a little bit of work you gotta do. There's some things we have to do. There's some things we must do. It says in the big book.
I
right?
just
With a capital M.
I just gotta ask because other people they seem to think that other people are going to do that for them. They don't do this work, and
Right.
I feel for them. I feel for the people that choose not to do the work to get where we have been, where we
Right.
are.
Right, and that's
You
all
know?
part of the cleaning house. Clean house, making amends. Have to make those amends.
Right.
That opens the promises to us. And then so clean house, trust God. What? No.
Help others.
Clean house, trust God, help others. I don't know. I know Manny didn't coin that, but he was one of the first I heard that said it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That was
part
my
of-
spiritual guide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
comes. I've heard others say it too, and and that trust God part is, get out of my own way and trust a power that's greater than me to take care of things that I can only do a little, just like maybe a hair.
A grain of sand on the beach.
And
Right.
you know what? And God's got the rest. He's got the rest. And there's some things I need to participate in, and sometimes I pick the wrong things. But anyway, so
Wait, sidetracking that question, going deeper into what
Yeah.
you said, how long did it take for you to get to that point where you realized what you just said? You said, I have this, where's the camera? I have this much, and I got to trust God to do all this other. Has it always been that way?
when I get out of my own way. No, I had to learn that. And it goes back to what I said even before that when I first started here tonight, and that is, what was it I said?
I
You
don't
dropped
know.
so
Welcome.
many.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You dropped
Well,
so
it
many
had-
nuggets on us.
It had to do with of being able to and I lost my train of thought. I was
jumped
track.
asking, how did you? When? Like, how long did it take you to come to that realization? Like, I put in this much, and I have to trust that my higher power will take care of
It
all
took
this.
a long
rest.
time, really.
It did.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
because I still wanted to control things. I still wanted, I wanted things to go my way,
Right.
and the
And right
frustration, and well, yeah, right.
Well, like Brad
now.
was saying that's how I was in early recovery. It was like, first of all, tell me the secret because I want what you have, and who's-
Without having to do anything
without
back.
having to-
I want you to do the work
Right.
for
Exactly.
me.
Good answer.
I want
Right.
you to
Yeah,
do the
right.
work for
Right.
me.
Right.
That's what I in early recovery because that's
When's
I
this
was
shit
sick.
gonna take, man?
right,
I was that sick.
right, yeah.
I just didn't know any different, or I just was still that sick where I was like, all right, so they're gonna do it for me.
Right.
I'll
That's-
walk in.
I wanted everybody
Yeah.
to do it for me.
I
I
mean,
didn't
I-
have to do the work.
I tried
I'm lazy,
for 5
man.
years, Bob. I tried to let the meetings do the work for me, man, and they just wouldn't do it.
Same with me.
They
Bob.
carried me that far,
Right.
though.
I got
You
lucky
know,
that I carried you. that
MJ
far.
was there in my early recovery to watch me struggle through a lot of it at the Alano Society that I was going to. I seen her quite often, and I mean, I think there was a guy 4 years, 10 months, a little more than that maybe in, and he says, "What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?"
Are you getting ready to be ready?
Well, and that
Are you
that's
here for the
about it. I
feeding?
mean, I had done some dibbling and dabbling with it, but I hadn't really done it, you know. And I did enough just to keep clean, stay
Right.
stay involved, you know. But the majority of my recovery was service work, you know. Do more service, more service, more service. The more service work I do, the less I get, the less they're going to see of how bad
Right.
I am, you know.
Right.
Well, you know, and people can hide in that. So
Oh,
I
I
hear what
know.
you're saying.
Yeah.
I did
I
it
hear
for a
what
long
you're saying because
time.
I did it too. And there's some days when I think I do it just so that I don't have to talk to somebody, you know. And it's and it can be a lonely place.
Well,
It
until
can
you
get-
get,
You know, it takes
until
you
you
really
do so
out of-
much
out
service
of
work that
actually-
you get asked to do a lot of really big things in service,
Right.
then you got to talk to a lot of people. So
And
it
when you get
backfires
really
on us.
involved, you find out that recovery's larger than the room that you're sitting in.
100%.
Especially if you get
Absolutely.
busy on the district levels and stuff. Yeah, you're like, whoa, this thing is way bigger than the room I sit in once a week
Right.
or twice a week.
MJ, we
Yeah.
hijacked your
It is.
answering.
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
No, that's okay. But I hear what he's saying about that is because, you know, I mean, look at the campfire meeting. You know,
Yeah,
people
we're-
from everywhere come to that. And it's
It's
like
unbelievable.
we have no control over that.
Right.
Thank you, God. God has put everybody there that's supposed to be there.
I wish
on
I
a
got
monthly
more Friday
basis.
nights off.
Because it's amazing who shows up.
Yeah, last month we were lucky enough to get one early one in outside. There was over 80 people. It's like,
Yeah, will
wait
you
a
guys
minute,
give
don't
us
these
a
people have
history
homes
of-
or jobs or
Will you
anything?
guys
What are
talk
they
to us
doing
about
here?
the campfire meeting and the growth of it? How it
Started out with
everything?
8
I can-
people.
I mean, I can
Started
tell
out
you the
with
first
8.
one I went to was only like 20, I think.
Yeah.
I think there was 20 people there, and
That was early.
And then I didn't make one for God, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, the next time I came back, we had to bring extra tables out. And Bob's like, I got 50 chairs over here we got to bring out, and I got extra pile of pallets. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing's like turned
Yeah.
into a big thing. You
It
know?
is.
And
It is.
It's
And
really cool to
great
see.
recovery,
Right.
and it's all about who shows up. You know, we wouldn't have a meeting if people didn't show up.
100%.
So you know that's what the beauty of it is. It has nothing to do with us. It's just a place to have it.
Right.
You know,
We're blessed enough to
it's-
be able to have a place to
Yeah.
share with others.
Yeah.
And it took off from there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing that we did. All we did was supply the place. And guess what? Recovery showed up.
absolutely.
And it continually shows up. And what's really awesome is every month there's at least half a dozen to a dozen new people that come, and they're like, wow.
So
we gotta
here's a
come back."
story. The last meeting that we had, this young gal came and she brought somebody with her, and we Tim actually told her to come to the meeting, which she did, and she brought someone with her. She needed a ride, so this person drove her there, and the other person who came with her, I don't think is one of us.
Nope. she's not.
And it was just funny because when we saw her next, she says, "Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing thing last night. I cannot wait to get back." You know, and we'll probably see her again this
Oh,
month.
yes.
But
Si-
you know,
go ahead.
it has nothing to do with us.
So
It
with
never
share-
does.
with
It never
sharing
does.
with
It
that
always is who's
is
the
like,
sharing.
you know, I do a lot of that. I bring a lot of people that aren't in the program with me, that are friends that don't understand who we are.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor Kevin's one of them. I brought him to the Wild Recovery Night. He got to hear the speaker at the Wild Recovery Night. He got to meet.
It's
you know,
awesome to
meet-
share this with people
meet
that don't
Paul Lamb.
understand because it gives them a better understanding.
And
Yeah.
a whole group of us, obviously there was 1,800 plus people
Yeah.
there of members of AANA or any type of recovery.
Right.
And then for the Timberwolves recovery night, I took my mom, who's a huge, my mother-in-law, who's a huge
Supporter.
huge supporter of us in the background. She does a ton of stuff for us. And she also does a lot. She loves the Timberwolves. So I couldn't think of a better person to bring. And the guest speaker there was Willie Burton, who, I mean, a phenomenal story, phenomenal message of Alcoholics Anonymous and what he brought to the table to share with us. It was just unbelievable, you know.
Cool.
I'm grateful for those moments, you know, those moments of being able to bring, like, I know I could bring my mom out there to your guys' place and we'd sit down and have a little ice cream float or whatever was brought, you know, whoever brought whatever to share. And she would hear a message of hope and a message of, or carried the message. She would hear somebody who carried the message to another individual in this program and see the growth in another human that she may not have seen for a while. You know what I mean? So those are the gifts that I think that bringing those non-members
Right.
to events to see that, and usually most of the people I bring, like my neighbor Kevin's just huge into service. He picks up a tab for a few people. Mine's crap.
It's crackling, but they're not. We have to deal with it. The audience doesn't hear it. I'm listening to it live.
Gotcha.
5 second delay, not live. I think it says it in, I don't know if it's the big book, but the outside world could benefit from these 12 steps, this program.
100%.
And you don't have to be an addict, an alcoholic to benefit from this program.
I've been saying that for years. I don't care who you are. We're all recovering from something. And the bottom line is if you apply these 12 suggestions, we'll say, to your life, the quality of your life will get better. It doesn't get easier, but the quality of the way that you handle situations and deal with things are way beyond anything you could ever comprehend. So
If you guys want to take your
Well,
headphones off,
things
you
get
can.
better.
It's emptier in here
What's
now.
really beautiful is that it says it even in the big book about the family afterward.
yeah.
And when you actually read all that and you read, the family is going to be jealous because, the alcoholic is going to all these meetings and helping all these other people. When are they going to get their time and all? Families actually feel that way.
Yes,
and
yes.
and the family members and the wives
They're
and whatever.
jealous. They get
And-
jealous,
And the
yeah.
beautiful thing is though is that it addresses it to them.
It does.
And it's like and it tells time after time after time when you read through all of that, the family afterward and to the wives, and you read all that and you know exactly how the families are what they're
Affected,
dealing
yeah.
with. Yeah, they've been affected by the alcoholic. They're still being affected by the alcoholic. But the beautiful thing is that, what? It can change. If they change alongside the alcoholic, things will be much better. And
It's-
even the people around them that they work with, the employers, people that we work with. So it talks about all of that.
But
It
I
talks
also
about
know
all of
that
and how we
you
get there.
guys, like the guys, people that came before me in early recovery explained to me that, Tim, just because you changed, they don't have to. They don't owe me anything because I changed.
Right.
Because I decided to get better, the bridges I burnt were still burnt down. They don't go away. And that's where a lot of our step work comes in,
Yeah.
our amends is, things of that nature. Side note, we brought up something about someone that came to the meeting. We go to a fellowship every now and again at a restaurant somewhere, keeping anonymity in check here. A waitress there, time and time again, she had the shakes in the morning. Otherwise, she smelled like booze. And it got bad, and all of a sudden, there was a post on one of the social media things of her in ICU. She was brain dead. She had they call it wet brain, whatever. It got bad. She was at Courage Kenny, trying to learn how to be. They didn't give her good odds. And it was one of her coworkers when we came back in and spoke with a few of us at breakfast. I gave the coworker our number. And she reached out and said, my friend, I'm the only one left in her life who's visiting or whatever.
And you made mention of the campfire meeting
And
to
I
them.
said, because of the connection, like I said, that Bob, who comes in there, he does a campfire meeting. And I think it'd be great. You can isolate and just watch if you want, whatever the case. And I know she ended up leaving that meeting with, not that she got bombarded, but women went to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up leaving with multiple numbers. And from there, I don't know where it went. But that's the benefit of this program. And her life's changed. I've
Yeah,
seen her
wow.
2 times since at the job. She's happy, joyous, and free.
Yeah.
Found
Yeah.
meetings, some women. She's been reaching out to them. To me, that's part of helping someone.
Our lives will change drastically.
Help
it
others.
says.
Help others, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and others, we will attract others.
Yes.
Just from our natural being.
Yeah,
of-
we don't have
of
to
being-
promote a thing.
No.
When they see, Bob and whoever, the 2 guys he's got in his boat with him coming off the lake on Lake Minnetonka, and they ain't dumping out 25 beer cans, but they're laughing and having a great time, and they got a basket full of crappies. They're they're curious. People are curious on how they did that. How did you, dude? When I
want
got
some
into
of
the
what you're
program-
having. Well, then it's called life. Come on in.
When I got into the program, I was afraid to go fishing. I was afraid to go hunting.
that was ice
I was
fishing for me.
afraid to do all those
Yeah.
things because I didn't.
That was your
I
drink
only
fest.
knew it
Because that was
under
my
the
drink and my
influence.
drug
Yeah,
fest.
so-
I mean, the
Hey,
only
Kenny,
thing that was on
get
the
over here.
top of my, the only thing that was on the top of my freaking tackle box was a
Right.
whole pile of residue. You know,
Taking my seat. I want you guys to keep
the
convo going.
the whole gift of that today is now I have a fish house that I can bring out, put on the lake, and I can have newcomers and old timers come out and fish with us and have a meeting at the lake at the same time, right?
yeah.
Same thing as I know you do in the boat, Bob. I know you do that because I've done it with some other members that have the same luxuries today. You know, after being in this thing a long time, it materialized, and we've got things today that we can share.
About solutions to the situations that are coming in. How to handle the being dealt with. It's today's day and age is easy for any of us, you know, especially the younger generation. So that's what recovery has really helped me with is I'm trying to be a better role model of being a grandfather and a father to my daughter and a grandfather to my grandson, better husband to my wife, better friend to my friends, a coworker to people that you work with and stuff. So that's what recovery teaches us is how to form and develop relationships, you know. So yeah, that's a good thing. So that's a good thing to have that. Huh, Ken?
Did it work?
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Ken. We're glad to see you.
Hi, MJ.
So I know that you've been having a hard go with things lately, Ken. So, you know, I know that
Talking
you.
about Bob. You're sharing my dirty laundry on.
No, there's no dirty laundry. That's nothing
No,
to
it's
do
part
with
of
it.
recovery.
You're having You're having
Recovery is life, for sure. The last 4 months have probably been the hardest time in my recovery.
I went through many stages of those.
Well, we go through many stages of that, I'm
Right,
sure. I mean,
right.
what, there's 24, 27,
20, 26.
26, 22? There's almost 100 years of recovery sitting there.
There's 100
There's over 100 years of recovery sitting at this table.
You know, and yeah, it's just been the last 4 months since probably December 1st. It's just been one episode after another, but I still stay sober. And I try to work a program, but sometimes I don't do a good job at it. Still at
No,
22
no.
years. So.
But you've
No
been
one's
but you're
perfect.
practicing though,
Yeah,
right?
but- and
No
none of
one's
us do it
perfect.
to the perfect. We're not perfect, you know. We're not
Progress,
perfect.
not perfection.
I can remember in December I was putting a window in, and MJ's talking about your higher power is going to save you from whatever I was crying about. And I'm crying putting a window in her house, bawling my head off, you know, because you know that's what we do. We support each other, and that's what some people in early recovery don't understand. Is the long-term sobriety people, we support each other through thick and thin. We lean on each other.
We lift each other up.
We
Yep.
lean on each other big time.
That walking shoulder to shoulder.
It
You
was
know,
crazy.
I remember when someone at a meeting said, you know, we need to check on not only the newcomers, but we also need to check on the old timers. Make sure they're still kicking, right?
Right.
Nothing
You know,
beats that
what's-
phone call, does it?
What's going on, you know? And,
Realistically, especially
know-
when we haven't, especially like, you know, to dig into that, especially when we haven't been calling our fives. So a new thing with my home group, a gentleman in my home group says, man, get 5 guys' numbers and call 5 guys every day, man. And, you know, for us old timers, it's hard to do that, to call 5 guys every day, man. I text with 2 guys every morning, no matter what. You know, I got Romney that I talk with every day. I got Scott that I talk to every day. And then there's usually 1 or 2 other guys that I text or talk with every single day. And then I got a group of sponsees. Now, whether or not the sponsees are calling me every day, you know, I usually give that assignment that, you know, hey, if we're gonna work together, we're gonna spend the first 90 days. I need to talk to you every day. Like, we need to get to know each other. Like, without a relationship, there's no foundation. We're not gonna be able to work any steps because there'd be no trust.
right.
And and I think that's a really hard thing for guys to do, especially men. Women like to talk. Men, the last thing I want to do is talk on that phone. You know, I really do. But when a newcomer calls me, it lights up my day, man. It lights up my day. When I say a newcomer, anybody under 5 years, you know, anybody under 5 years in recovery calls me, I just feel like, oh, all right, man, I might accomplish something today, you know. I might be able to share some of this wisdom that I've been holding on to, or I'm in a place like you were saying, Ken, where I'm struggling, and man, this guy might pull me right out of it.
And that's the joy of that stuff, because that's what happens is
100%.
no matter how bad I think no one else calls me, it pulls me out of my own stuff.
Just
So,
pops you right out of
Yeah,
it.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Well, here's what I do with my girls is, and even other people, is send a gratitude list out of 5 things every day. I miss a few days once in a while, but you know, it for the most part, there's always something to be grateful for, and that's what this one's called tonight, right? Is it always called Attitude for Gratitude?
Yep.
This whole
Yep.
the
The
podcast
podcast is, yeah.
Hey, you know what? And the thing is there's always something to be grateful for. The sun was shining today. It's nicer weather. The snow is gone. You know, I mean, even the little
Right.
things. The wind is blowing. I love, just grateful for all these different things. And even though we might think they're small, sending our list to somebody else will get them thinking, oh my gosh, I have things to be grateful for too. I am grateful for some things, you know.
Right.
And I've had my girls try to send me 2 or 3 things that they're grateful for, and I go, okay, 2 more. 2 more. Come on, you can do it. You know, and it's like, yeah. You know, if it's even just like the washing machine. I slept last night. I don't care what it is, you know.
Well, I can't
It's
wait
like-
to sleep tonight. I got a new bed.
Oh, there you go.
A waterbed?
Nope. Those
Water
days are
bed.
long gone. But
I never liked those.
we'd been sleeping on an old sleep number, and we just bought a new one. So I'm super excited for the new technology and the.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll get a good night's sleep.
You know, and that's
That's
the thing is,
amazing.
you can be grateful for a bed. I didn't even have a bed. You
Yeah.
know, I was living homeless under a bridge for almost a year and a half, and you know, in my younger days, and I didn't think drugs and alcohol had anything to do with it. It was just bad misfortune, you know. And the truth of the matter was, I am the common denominator, not in some, but all of my situations. So what did I do to get me there? You know, and I look back on it now and I go, I know exactly what I did. And like I said earlier, if, you know, in my younger day, I would have loved to have had the ability to love, because I didn't have that ability. And today I have that exponentially. And that's a big blessing, is to realize that I'm a miracle and everybody sitting around me or near me or even, you know, they're miracles too. I didn't. I looked at you as like, if you ain't got nothing that I can get from you, I don't even want to be around you, you know. And today it's like, I'm blessed to be able to get to even be around anybody, you know. So that's a cool thing.
You know, it was amazing. Wednesday we had dinner with, 15, 17 guys?
Yeah.
That just showed up
Wow.
out of nowhere.
One guy threw it together and he had to
He
go to the
didn't even come.
hospital because his shit was in Technicolor or something. I don't know. But
I mean, that's just amazing that the sobriety and camaraderie of the people that we know, we support each other through thick and thin.
100%.
Yeah. And trying to teach the newcomers that is the most difficult thing that I've found.
Well, you know,
Because they don't
I think
listen.
I think a lot of things fall into that, though. I mean, we struggled through a pandemic in the last couple of years. That's something that us old timers we didn't have to deal with in our early recovery. So
Right.
now they've isolated and they've learned that this Zoom thing is like the way to live. And I've had a few newcomers come in and say, well, I do 3 Zoom meetings a week. I go, yeah, but have you touched anybody in the last 3 years?
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
dude, I gotta get out and get some physical contact, man. There ain't nothing better than to get me a bobber hug. You know what I
Right,
mean? I'm just
yeah.
being honest.
Right.
It just is.
No,
it's
that's
the
what me
reality
too.
of it,
I
man.
have
I
to
need
have-
that. I need that
need
physical
physical
feeling
contact,
and
yeah.
that.
So there was a question that came through. Yeah, Bob did go through the Dick and Mary back to the acting thing 20-some years ago.
I went through it 5 times. I did it. I was doing it every other year with sponsees because it really, and I still do it today. Not so much because I learned from them that now I've been able to pretty much do the same with others. And then I've even been with groups that have created their own big book study in action kind of things. So that's the cool thing, is that that's what taught me about how to put action into my recovery. The steps are action steps. And there's things that I need to do in order to get what the first 100 men and women got. And they're not suggested. It says our book is meant to be suggestive only. Well, the truth of the matter is if you want what they have, then I would suggest you do what they did. That's what the suggestion is. And the suggestion is do the work.
100%.
Don't not do it.
Well, like I said when I first sat down, is I wanted to figure out how to get what you got, but I didn't want to do the work. I needed Ken to do the work, MJ to carry the load, and Bob to show me that I did it. You know what I mean? I needed a team of people.
Then we can all pat
then
Brad
pat
on the
me
back
on the back,
because
'cause I did
he
it
did
all,
a good
right?
job.
100%, you know, and I see Tim put up there, he wanted to know if we still make goals, man. My goals are a lot different today, but yeah, and they're a lot like parenting goals, grandparenting goals, like Bob had said. You know, I want to be better than, I want to do better than what my parents did. I want to be better than what I was with my grandkids than I was with my kids.
Right.
Does that make sense? You know, and and I want to have fun, man. Dude, I love my toys. I'm not gonna lie. I love having the 4-wheeler. I love having the fish house. I love having the.
You can truly
My
enjoy
RVs.
these things now, rather than I used to place my identity in what I owned as who I was. And the truth of the matter is my wife said to me a while back, we have all this stuff, and the bottom line is I can't take any of it to the grave. But the cool thing is I'm blessed enough to get to be able to experience the things that I think that I would enjoy experiencing, and then I try them, know that I like them, and then I go in depth with. I have these personal relationship with cars and motorcycles and
And then my
fishing.
addict behavior takes over,
Right.
and I'm invested
Right.
100%.
Right. Well, you can, but the cool thing is, like I said, is that's when you start placing your identity in those things. And the thing is these are just my stuff to borrow on here.
No,
And if
you're
I
right,
had to
Bob.
liquidate anything right here, right now, it's not a problem. I would in 2 seconds.
Well, and
Without a
like-
heartbeat, I wouldn't have a qualm about any of it.
Yeah, I would
I would.
ditch everything if it cost me my recovery.
Yep.
I wanna walk away from it all.
Yep.
I think I'd lose everything if it cost me a recovery.
Right.
Well, I would lose it all in a quick hurry if I
Right.
didn't have this. But yes,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying that I would
goes
have to lose everything before I gave up my recovery.
Right.
Is what I mean. You know,
So
there's-
that's why I told my wife, these are, the cool thing is I call these, they're investments. They're liquidable assets that I can liquidate at any time if I needed the funds. So why not be able to do the things that I enjoy doing? The blessing that I have of recovery helped me along that path. So now it's like, yeah, it's just awesome because I don't get attached to it like I used to. So that's the cool thing, what recovery has taught me. I would rather have a relationship with my higher power and than have the material things.
So that would be a promise.
That is a total promise.
It is.
That I love my higher power more than any money or anything, possession, I love the fact that my higher power has given me the relationship with the woman sitting next to me. I'm blessed beyond words. That would be my beautiful wife, Mary Jo, who has done nothing but help me, not only in my recovery, but in my life with my connection to my higher power. She brought me heels dug in, dragging me by the 2 nostrils with a finger up each nostril, saying, "You're coming with me to church." And actually, it wasn't. That's one of the connections of her spiritual connection, and I had this deep-seated non-committal toward this relationship with that religious type God. And what ended up happening is she let me know that that's not the way the way I was thinking was not the way that it really truly is. And over the years, he helped open my eyes to that's the truth.
Well, the thing is religion and spirituality are two different things.
They are.
100%.
You know, and religion is man-made, and
Yeah.
spirituality is not. It's a personal relationship
Like I
with the
shared.
power greater than
So I have a
yourself.
question for all three of you. So when we first got into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, my concept of God was a lot different than it is today,
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
And I've seen the blessings in my life, and Bob's seen the blessing. I'm sure you too have seen that we're struggling with something. All of a sudden, God goes, "Wake up, dummy," and He gives you the answer, and it makes it easier to live life that way. Would you say?
Absolutely.
Usually for me God, I mean, yeah, my conception of my higher power has changed so many times. I couldn't even tell you how many times. The number one thing that it's always stayed is something can't control. If I can't
Something that I
control-
can't conceive even.
Usually
That's the
something-
smartest
Right.
part of my brain telling me.
Usually some of it is something I can't conceive, but this transformation into what I'm understanding of it now is so like MJ had brought up a really big thing was that, we created religion, man created that. And I have a really hard time with, the picture of Jesus Christ on the wall being my higher power. I always have. It's just I've never felt it in the building. You know what I mean? I've felt well after leaving church because I get that spiritual uplift from the message.
Right.
But, it just happens to be this guy up front knows a little bit more about something than I do. And I learned something, you know what I mean? It's kind of how I intellectualize it all, so I can, that's why when I say it, I feel at most peace and at most rest. And it's a lot. It takes a lot to get me there. I mean, you guys have been around me a lot. I'm on the go, man. I'm a runner. I want to plow my way through life. When I'm sitting on the side of the river or sitting out in my deer stand or I'm sitting in nature and I feel the wind and I feel the breeze and I feel the sunshine shining down or the waterfall, sitting on the side of the creek, throwing a fishing rod out, whatever, man, I just feel so much at peace there. And in the wintertime, I feel it when I'm sitting out, I'm 150 miles or 150 yards away from the nearest house and I'm sitting out there by myself on my four-wheeler looking for my next spot to go drill a hole and see where the fish are next. You know what I mean? Those are when I feel at peace the most.
Look, here's a weird deal. When I hit the frickin' throttle on my boat, I hit the gas and the boat goes out on getting up's the weird part. The second that boat gets out on plane, it's frickin' insane. It's the most insane feeling for me, and that's God gets me out on plane.
Right.
And my road is smooth. That freaking boat goes, And,
Yeah.
and the coolest thing is that's if I let God, I steer, he don't, or I row, he don't. Here, I'll put it to you. There we go. Here's how it goes. So I'm sitting in a boat with God, and I'm freaking paddling away. He's back there steering, and after a while, I look at God, and I go, "Hey, can I steer?" He goes, "Sure." So I go there, and I'm steering, looking back at it. And then I turn around, and we ain't going nowhere. And I go, "What's going on?" And he looks at me and says, "God don't row." So it's up to me to do the work so that I can get to where God can put me.
Right.
So that's what it's about. Is God don't row. So I have to do the things that I need to do in order to get where God wants me to go.
And then the
So
second.
okay, hang on 1 second. So that getting out on plane,
Yep.
I know what you're talking about, and I love that, getting out on plane. Remember what I said earlier? Superpower? Flying. That's what that
Right.
is. It feels like you're flying. I love that. Anyway,
I like
just had
the
to
take
interject.
off.
I love it. When you get out of that whole shot and the boat comes right out, and then it's just it's the most insane feeling. And that's
Yeah.
the way I feel about when God's doing the things in my life. I'm getting on, I'm going where I need to go.
right? And
He's getting where I need to go.
well, and then the second part to that was is that, you know, the answer just comes. You know, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just come, it's sent to me with a messenger. Usually it's done by a messenger, either a sponsee, a newcomer, somebody who just walks in the door and it's like, boom. Wow, I can't believe I just read that out of somebody who just walked in the door, just answered all the problems I had for the last 30 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Why did it take till that?
right, and how come it came from that person? That's usually the biggest thing that I get.
Right.
You
Oh,
know,
you're
it's
right.
Like, why'd that person deliver that message? You know, the
That's the last place I thought that was coming from.
usually the least person I care for the most. You know, the person I care
True.
for the least.
That's
You know, is
true.
giving me
Yep.
the best message at times. So, it's sometimes it's careful how we judge people.
It's like open your spiritual ears, right?
That's a big thing, you know, because I have had times in my recovery where I close people off, like, I'm going to keep my distance, you know, and I still do. I find myself still doing that, and it's a protection wall for me. Not letting certain people get too damn close. I don't want to feel that pain anymore. Nope.
So I
You know?
read something a couple days ago that pain is growth, and I'm just like, I didn't want to fucking read that again.
Or you don't want to grow anymore. Which
Right.
one is it?
That's growing pain.
Because here's the reality of it is I don't grow until the pain becomes great enough to force me to make some kind of change that allows me to grow somewhere different in my life, you know, and that's my most recent sponsor telling me that, hey, this is how you got to live life. And I already know that's how you are. That's who we are. And you know, and he's got a lot less time than any of the four of us sitting here, but he's got something I want. He's got that 5, 6, 7 minutes where he can think about something before he goes off the nut, you know, and I don't have that. I wish I did, man. I wish I had it, because I go from 0 to 100 in about half a second. I mean, I can't even make it to the other end of this table, Bob, and I'm already there. You know that, you know, and it's just like I need to find more level in my life and not this big high up and downs and I'm starting to get there working with him and it's been nice. It's been real good and he always tells me, he says, you help me way more than I help you, and I go, well, you know, it is a two-way street, buddy. And it, you know, the sponsorship thing is just a label that we put on it anyway. It's truly just one friend helping another along through life.
True.
And after we get as much time as we have, it's not really, I mean, yeah, I've got times where I think about using again, but man, I'm telling you, that's the farthest thought from my mind. I know where I end up. I played that tape all the way to the end so many times that, I mean, dude, would I ever have to tell this one? You know what I mean? This is my, you know, my 12-year-old daughter. If I had to tell her dad went out and got lit up, you know, what would I have to do to deal with that?
Right.
Oof, I can't even think
Thank
about
God
it.
you don't need to today.
Right? And
Funny you talk
when
about-
I got the tools of the people around me, you know, to share and
Miss Gracie just showed up.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm Gracie.
It's a long story, but I'm here.
Good to see you.
That's a good thing to be here.
So
And
here's
love,
another thing
too.
we're going to be starting on May 17th. We're going to have a back to the 80s and 90s dance party for us old folk.
Oh boy.
80s and 90s.
80s and 90s movement music.
And
Yeah.
where's
Should
that
be
at?
70s and
Disco.
80s. 70s and
Go,
80s.
oh, we
Well,
can do it 70s, 90s. and
These guys are a little bit older than us.
Not much.
a little bit.
Not a
roller
lot, but a
skating.
little. But we are. You are
Yeah,
correct.
No, that sounds fun.
I rented the venue last night. It's in Anoka. So we'll see what happens.
Right on.
Yeah, that ought to be a
I thought
fun
it'd be
deal.
pretty. Well, tonight there's a dance down at 2218, and I don't think any four of us are gonna go out there.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's catered to more younger folk.
You got a DJ already lined up for
Oh,
that
yeah.
gig?
Yeah, we are. But I gotta pick the music, so.
Well, no, that's okay. I know a really good DJ that'll let you pick the music too. So,
Yeah.
just saying.
So we're gonna if it happens, if it turns out to be a good thing, I think we might continue to do it.
Right on.
Awesome.
But it's just, you know, us old folk go to the bar, and you know, a couple of years ago we were all of us were out at the bar, and watching a band, and I asked for a Coke, and she gave me a whiskey Coke.
Been there, done that a couple of times going out.
And I took a drink of it, and I like that shit hit my throat and my stomach, and I was like, I freaked out. I turned around and set it back down on the bar, and I went, "You're supposed to give me a Coke," and she
I remember
apologized.
that.
I walked over to Bob and MJ, and I just relapsed, but it wasn't a relapse because I didn't ask for it.
Right.
But that was the scariest thing I've ever seen, because my addict, because I'm
Kicked right in, didn't it?
I'm a
Kicked
true
right
addict.
in.
It just kicked my ass and kicked right in, and I wanted more instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary.
Yep.
How
That is.
fast that
Yep.
it will take over. And if I'm not in the right spiritual mind or spiritual place, or even half spiritual place, how well that can take me out to the next level.
Right.
It's scary.
Definitely is. So where's this at? In Anoka?
Yep.
Where?
Uh,
Knights of Olympus? Or is that where it is?
Yep.
Huh.
We're gonna. Tim was supposed to make a flyer up. We'll have a flyer. We'll have some information. I'm sure it's gonna go on the campfire meeting. I mean, we need to get some people here. So
Right.
we'll just have a good time. You know, all motorcycles and create some.
Sounds like a blast.
It's gonna be. I hope.
Yep, sounds like something. to be
80s
fun
and
to do.
90s. All righty. Well,
Wait,
you
said
know, hey.
70s disco music.
Oh, I'm just.
She wants to hear a little YMCA.
You know, she wants to wear platform shoes with her wig.
She can wear that.
I got
Yeah,
platform
bring it on.
shoes for Burning Man.
Bring it on.
There you go.
That was one of the coolest things. So we just got back from that NA cruise, me and Heather, and
okay.
there was a couple of things on there. I always forget to look, and the boat does these night themes. Like it's white out night. All right, well, I brought a white sweatshirt, so I was good there, but then they did this 70s night, and I mean, dude, it was so cool. All these groups of
You
people
saw
in
some
your
stuff,
guys'
yeah.
class age, come out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I say you guys are like 10 years older than me, so see you guys come in, and there was like this whole group, and they were all, I mean, decked to the max. Like
Cool. That would've
three
been
of them
fun to see.
came in 100% dressed exactly like
The
three
70s.
different versions of
John Travolta.
Share.
No, you're close though. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me now that I've lost it. Heather might call me and tell me, but
John Travolta. That was the big guy in the 70s.
there was a couple of
The
them, but
Bee
there was
Gees.
one dude with a big, huge afro.
Oh, the
big
Village
white dude,
People?
Village People. One of him.
Okay.
That dude came in. He had to have like 9-inch platform shoes on. I
Oh,
mean, I was
geez.
like, oh my god, and he was
So
tall to
how
begin
was
with.
that cruise?
It was a lot of fun. So there was, it was put on by Southern Area Narcotic Anonymous, and there was, I want to say 500 of us addicts on the boat,
Okay.
and
Cool.
we had a meeting every hour on the hour.
Oh wow.
Start every hour on the hour,
Mhm.
and it was a marathon meeting. And some 1, 2, 3 people in there. Sometimes there was 50.
Sure.
It was very inconsistent, but it was
Okay.
good.
Cool.
We had a good opening speaker. We brought a bunch of literature, a bunch of literature to a small island in the Caribbean, and shared a message of hope and had a lot of fun doing it. You know what I mean? And met a lot of good people while I was along the way.
Did you start on Florida and go down? Or
No, we flew into Puerto Rico and then did a 7-day out of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Ended back in Puerto Rico. So
Okay.
we went to Barbados, Trinidad,
Oh, geez.
Tobago, St. Martin, St. Lucia, and then back to Puerto Rico.
Fun. Fun.
It was a lot of fun. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap by any means, but it was definitely
You know,
a
but
lot.
that
That's
says a
what
lot
recovery
to,
gives you.
yeah, what
Right.
recovery.
It was a
You
gift.
How
know,
much did
we're
we
not a
put
glum lot.
into the
I mean-
non-recovery stuff?
I can promise you that it was cheaper than a lot of my vendors.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Wait, now you're dating everybody because they don't know what vendors mean.
Well, the big book says whoopee parties. So that's really dating.
Right?
I had
No, I had to
never
go to the
been to a
next
whoopee
one.
party.
What is a whoopee party? Anyway, I mean, it it was a blessing. You are correct, 100% to just go enjoy that on the beach. And there was some newcomers there as well. And that was kind of cool too, to see some young people that
Awesome.
were willing to put that kind of investment into their recovery, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because it was kind of an investment. I mean, it was,
Right. Well, and it's a scary thing too for even people that have been Mary Jo and I didn't go on we flew into Cancun, our first adult vacation, sober vacation. When was that?
Into the
20
Caribbean,
20
and that
years
was
ago?
in 2000.
We did like 5 days
or four,
in
maybe?
Cancun, and you would not believe the alcohol that they're trying to force
Oh, yeah.
on your throat while you're, you know.
He
Boy,
had to
the
pull out
cruise
his
is
medallion
really
and show it to the shooter girl, and she looked at it, she had like,
Want
walked
one
away.
anyway?
She had no idea what it
I
was.
didn't know what it was. And stuff. And it's a big gamble, and it's a scary thing, you know, even if you're not in recovery, you know. So, or your early recovery, and you're even going to a sober thing. So it was even more scarier for us go on our, you know, doing
Yeah.
an adult fun thing.
the
And,
cruise line's whole goal is to
but-
get you drunk.
Right, right, yeah, no, and but we made it through it, and we found little ways to get in and around those kinds of situations over the next years, and to be able to go and have a fun time on a sober vacation is really a neat thing to
It
be able
is.
to do and enjoy and remember it. And it's still expensive, but the bottom line is it's the most fun that we had in our adult life up until then, and we thought we had great times partying and when we were younger, but the
Right.
truth of the matter is doing it sober didn't hold a candle. I
Well,
mean,
then
it
we found
out
sober people to do it with, so that we'd go down to the Caribbean and
with 9
and-
or 10 of us.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and then to go around the table and say, okay, how many years of sobriety? We'd have
Yeah.
over 300 and some years of
Yeah.
sobriety, sitting around the table at lunch or dinner or breakfast
Right,
or
it
whatever.
was
and,
just, yeah.
you know, we just had a great time.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah,
we
that's
are
kinda
not a
how-
glum lot.
Right.
I mean, I think there was
Beg to differ.
there was 8 people at our dinner table, and if I added it up, there'd be probably 200 years at that table.
Sure.
Recovery,
Yeah.
and 2 of them were armies.
Yeah.
Because we brought Jeff, and my son Jeff and my mother-in-law came along with
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
So those 2 were normies at our table. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, it was a blessing though to be there, and it was my second Narcotics Anonymous cruise.
Sure.
I'd done one other one. This one was, I think, more fun as far as the cruise goes.
Okay.
But the excursions and things on the other one were more fun. Both
Right.
Caribbean cruises. One we just went to.
Right.
We went to the Dominican Republic on the other one, and I don't know if I'll ever see anything as beautiful as I did in the Dominican. It was just
Right.
gorgeous.
And that's what's so cool is that, you know, even the big book, we can, you know, if we have a solid foundation in our recovery, we can go to the more started places, it says, if we have
If we
the
have a
right
solid
cause to
foundation
be
and the
there.
right causes
Yeah.
to be there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I always like it when
Right.
when they offer me drinks, because I always just tell them, hey man, you guys don't have enough on the table for me to start.
Right. The
I
first
said-
time I went to Burning Man, people were like,
And I'm
"What are you
pretty
doing?
sure-
That's a drug orgy fest." And I'm
Right.
like,
Well, kind of what I said when you told me you were going there. Remember, we had that discussion.
That place is amazing too.
And I haven't
there a
been,
few
but
times.
Bob, I'd like to try sometime.
Yes,
Right.
Johnny B just said, "King of the Pirates, you are the king of the pirates."
yeah, we were with John. We were
That was a
with
good
a
story.
gentleman that's online right now, and we went on a booze cruise, and they had these different that we're gonna do if you were in this contest, and
Games.
John got into this game about to see who would be the king of the pirates, and everybody drinking booze except for John said, "No, I can't do that. Bottom line is I don't want to see the inside of a Mexican jail." So they,
Is what I want to get home.
yeah, I want to be able to go home. And,
You
and what
definitely
ended
don't
up
want to see
happening
the
is
inside of the jail on a
Right.
boat.
they gave John a bottle of Coke, and the other guys had bottles of beer, and they had to drink them through these little teeny baby straws, and John sucked down the Coke, which I think would be harder than beer because it's more got the
Acidic
bubbles
and
or
Bubbly.
whatever. Yeah, more carbonated than the beer. And he sucked it down, and the one guy bitch, hey, that's not beer, that's not fair. And John goes, sure, if it was beer, I would have done it 3 times faster than what I did.
Right?
But and that showed us right there that even in recovery, even we could be in the most sordid place and participate and be a part of that and still have a blast. And we did. We had a great time with that couple. So like I said, that's in your adult life, if you have never been on an actual vacation in your recovery and been afraid to do that, please go out and experience it, because it really has. My wife and I, we just
Well,
love going on vacation.
And I'm just
It's
gonna say, if you're afraid to do it because of your recovery, just remember, man, there's friends of Bill W. everywhere.
there
Everywhere,
is.
man, and
Yep.
and you can go to any kiosk, any speaker, anywhere you're at, and just say, man, I had a friend of Bill W. Somebody there on you're talking about, you know, and for those of us NA people, Jimmy K is the same response, but Bill W. is obviously more well known in the other parts of the world, but everywhere we've went, we've been able to make a meeting,
Yeah.
NA,
That's
AA,
awesome.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Recovery's everywhere.
Again, yeah, I started my recovery in AA. I'm indebted to AA for eternal for keeping me clean enough to realize that I needed NA to finish the job, and get me over that hump of me. And still, I don't know. I think my venture through both programs has actually benefited me more in the history of this than
and that's
ever.
just
but
it. It's like a 1-2 punch. Like some people, I see them get into recovery. They do a little bit of AA, and then they find the relationship with God through the organized religion thing. And then I see them strictly drop the AA or NA, and they go straight to church. And then they relapse and wonder why. And 1-2 punch. They
you
work
don't have
hand in hand with
if you
one
don't have that
another.
connection with another alcoholic or addict,
Right.
you're gonna doom
I've
yourself.
seen
And I
more
agree
people
with that.
fail in their recovery and wonder why they relapsed, and when they went straight off to church and just tried to stay there. And I've got a better chance if I'm okay with going to church, but I have to have the recovery side involved in my life in order for things to work better for me. And I'm only going to say that's for me. I
Right.
don't know what
Me
works
too.
for them.
I'm
But
with you,
like I
Bob.
said, 90% of the time I've seen people fail, it's where they just stopped doing any of the recovery stuff,
Yep.
went to church and said, that's enough. And next thing you know, God was only so big.
I think I skipped a line there though when I was going where I was going with that vacation thing. Was if you're afraid because of your recovery to go on a vacation like I did, man, I've been through 2 NA cruises, and there's all inclusive vacations these people put together, and they come seas. There's conventions, other organizations at some of these other resorts that people put together, that other areas put together, different areas in AA, NA. There's groups of, like MJ was saying, 10 people get together and we just went on a cruise, 10 couples, or went on a vacation to the Caribbean or whatever, Airbnb, and if you can split it with 4 or 5 other people and get a 5 or a 6 bedroom, man,
That makes
that's
it
awesome,
affordable.
dude.
Yeah, it makes it affordable.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
I think about what I've spent on Airbnbs just to do my promises to my son about riding in all 50 states, and I think about, man, that would have been way better if I would have been able to figure out 4 or 5 other guys in recovery to split the bill, man,
Sure.
But either way, it's still a blessing to be able to do those things too. But yeah, to be able to go out and vacation in other parts of the world and see the things that I've seen in the Dominican and St. Martin, St. Lucia, seeing the Pitons this last trip, and being able to see
Doing
that
it
crystal
sober.
blue
Yeah.
ocean. We did an excursion on St. Martin that was the regatta sailboat. You know, we got to operate and sail a regatta sailboat.
Sure.
There was 13 of us, and our crew
Life-
leader
you're
was a
making memories,
12-year-old.
lifetime experiences.
Our
yep.
crew leader
That you
was-
get
was
to
her
remember.
I
age.
guess,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
hey, so where was it that we saw the little Alano in Mexico?
Akumal in the the town of Tulum.
Was it
Yep.
Tulum?
Yeah, we were in Tulum and we looked up AA in the just on their phone, Googled it, and it said this street and this street. We ended up walking down a couple. We weren't that far from it. We ended up in a little AA hut, pretty much.
It was a little
And
white building.
yeah, a little teeny white building. You open it up, and there's like everybody rides mini bikes down or motor, little
Mopeds.
yeah,
Mopeds,
moped
yep.
stuff. So there's like 4 of them broken down, sitting in the middle of this thing. But there's a showcase, like bookcase showcase thing there with AA books in it. And there was nobody in there at the time. But the doors were open, and you could walk in. And so it was really interesting that you could. AA's everywhere. Recovery is everywhere. So that's a really neat thing that being in a foreign country and just being 6 blocks away from a meeting.
From a meeting,
And you're in the middle of.
The circle and the triangle right
Yep.
there. It was really neat.
Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
thought there were a couple guys working on one of those mopeds.
I think there was a guy or two. I can't remember.
No, it's like-
It's just so strange.
My
The
wife
bikers.
gets frustrated because of my connection with recovery. She gets frustrated because we'll get off a plane somewhere. Like we went to visit Cheryl that one time, and I get off the plane in Fort Myers at Mom's place, and I run into a couple of guys that I know from recovery, and I'm like, well, what do you mean, man? I said, I got a guy from recovery that moved down here from Minoka that's picking us up.
Yep.
She's like, oh my God.
Right.
You know,
And the plot
but-
thickens because it's everywhere.
But I'm like,
That's
it's
just
everywhere, And then when we're down there, we run into a guy that's down there on business that I just saw him on Facebook. He's doing some business. So we went and had dinner with him when he was, 5-10 miles away from us. And he says, man, thank God you guys took me out to dinner. So he goes, I don't know what they're running out of that t-shirt shop. I'm trying to teach them to work this printer in their print shop or whatever. And he says, man, there's some shady business going on in there that reminded me of some old stuff I used to do, And I said, well, good thing we're going to dinner then, and you can get a little piece of this,
Right.
at least, before you go back. But she just says, people everywhere. I can't take you anywhere without running into someone, and
Yeah, that's Bob too.
that brings me back to like 2003, I think, because the international was here in 2000, right, Bob?
Every 5 years, so 2000, 2005, 2010.
Right. So it was, but it was in the Dome in 2000, right?
2000, it was at the Dome.
Because
Yep.
I was a year and a
Yep.
half sober at the
Yep.
time, and I did 4 days of service work there.
I did too.
and
I did a lot of greeting at the convention center, handshaking.
I was actually paired up with the gentleman from Mexico,
Okay.
55 years sober,
Oh, wow.
and I
Wow.
was tasked to help him get along. Get from the Hyatt over to the Metrodome, help him get into a chair, get into a seat, whatever. Well, his English wasn't so great. Well, he was actually living in Mesa, Arizona.
Okay.
So we'll fast forward, another couple of friends of ours were getting married down in Mesa, and I flew to Mesa for the wedding. Another friend of mine actually borrowed me the money to go. I didn't have any money at the time. So we get down there, and we're in a meeting.
That's
and,
another thing. You can pay people back, and people can trust to give you money. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's just
And
recovery does things.
We get in there, we get down there, and another member takes me to a meeting, and I run into this guy down there in like 03, 04.
Crazy.
Well, this meeting's like
That's
65 people in
crazy.
this meeting in this Alano, right? And,
See, it's the
and
bigger,
he's-
the longer we hang around in the seats,
and he
the
stands
smaller
up,
the world gets.
and he stands up at the podium, and he introduces the guest speaker, and he tells me I'm speaking.
Oh, isn't that nice of
that
him?
last minute thing,
Oh, yeah.
But I don't
Too
even
funny.
know. I don't even know what I said that night. I have no idea what I shared, but there was a language barrier because, I'd say 50 to 60% of the people in the room were Spanish speaking. Sure. I do not speak a lick of Spanish. Sure. But the gifts you were talking about and being able to share this, no matter where you go, to run into him 2 years later. you know, after having probably the most spiritual moment I've ever had in my recovery and in my life was in 2000 when we were at that Metrodome with I mean, how could you not? 55,000 alcoholics
55,000 people saying the
standing
Serenity
up
Prayer.
saying the Serenity
Oh,
Prayer.
that
At
was
the same
insane.
time, I had tears running out of my eyes because
Yeah.
my mother had actually, I had begged my mom, who was an active addiction, active alcoholic, to pay for that convention for me, you know, and I was so grateful. It was the first time I was awake for 4 days without any drugs.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And I was on fire for it.
Hey, it's
you
nice
know?
talking to you.
Talk about your gratitude real quick.
We love you, buddy.
I have no fucking gratitude.
Yeah,
no.
you do.
You got gratitude. You're
Oh,
grateful for
Jesus.
something today, Ken.
Oh, well, shit.
What are you grateful for,
I
brother?
woke up and Bob called me at 6 o'clock this morning and told me to get out of bed. I was grateful for that.
Hey, see?
Um,
Can't have you lollygagging.
I don't know. I'm just grateful for the people that are in my life today.
That's a
that
good thing. Yeah.
They're some amazing people, and I get to do some amazing things in recovery. And because of my recovery, I get to do amazing things for people not in recovery. And it's pretty amazing. I'm helping a person redo her kitchen that she has no money, and I'm just helping because I have the knowledge and the tech.
That's good to
You
share.
know, the other thing is that we're gonna have this party on. That's gonna be a hoot. I think also promote and party down.
What's the date?
May
17th, and I motorcycle class. It gets delivered.
That's right, Ken. Right.
So, but I made a commitment. I wouldn't write it until I go through class, and that's 2 weeks. So,
All right.
no, that's not bad.
If I come and steal the bye.
Just park it in Bob's garage. He'll leave it out there for you.
Talk about the fires right now.
It
Please go
won't-
talk to her.
it-
Don't leave though.
It won't be hard. It won't be hard to leave it parked if you park it in his garage.
You know, I actually parked it in Susan's garage.
Welcome me back, everybody, to the show. So this is the part
Hi,
where we're going to
me-back.
start wrapping things up, and I want to start with you, Brad. And please, the name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. So could you please talk to us about your gratitude?
Well, we shared a lot of things about gratitude already, but man, I'm so grateful today that I've got the blessings in my life that I have. The people, mostly the people that I have in my circle, the close, you know, I got a lot of acquaintances, but I got a very few close brothers and sisters in this program that I consider family, and I love them, and I'd give them anything to continue on and move forward, you know, and we had shared a little bit while you were gone about how we'd give up absolutely every material thing we had if we had to keep our recovery, you know, and
Absolutely.
and in sharing that, you know, I mean, you're looking at a few people that got a lot of shit.
over almost
We got a
100
lot of
years.
things, man.
100 years of recovery with you four.
Yeah, it's I'm so grateful today, Tim. I couldn't even give you such a list. It's so long. I mean, grateful that it was nice enough today that when me and Greta were done with dinner, we got to be able to take the scooter out, run out to Andover and get some ice cream, and then I got back on the bike and we started heading back towards home, and I said, so you want to go home or do you want to go see Timmy? And she says, let's go see Timmy.
Oh, Greta.
So-
My little buddy.
So here we are to see
Don't
Timmy
blush,
before
don't
before
blush.
the end, and you know, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that impact that the people in my recovery have on my kids. You know, and because you know, if they turn up with this problem, they ain't coming to me. You know what I mean? They're coming to the people that they think won't come to me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and you guys have that relationship with my kids that they know that just because they got a problem, you ain't gonna bring it to me. You know what I mean? You might say, hey, you know,
Safe.
your son's safe and things are well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. You might not even tell me which damn kid. But I'm grateful for that today, you know, I'm grateful that I can accept that. If you said that, I don't
Accept
need
that.
to dig it. I don't need to be like, which one, Tim?
Right.
Tell me what's going
I
on,
get it.
you know,
No, I
and
get it.
I would accept that, you know what, my friends are taking care of it and I don't have to worry about it. You know, I'm grateful for that acceptance key today. that page 449 in the old school big book that says I accept that I am exactly
417 now if you're looking for it in the new editions.
well, I'm exactly where I need to be right now, and I accept that. I accept
Word.
exactly where and who I am and what I'm supposed to be today in my recovery, and I love my life today. I'm grateful for it. Love you guys.
Thank you for coming down here, both you and Greta.
Yeah,
now,
good to see you
MJ,
guys.
the name of talk about it, but we close up the show with this. So MJ, the name of the show again is called Attitude for Gratitude. Could you please share with us what your gratitude list looks like?
She's looking it up.
What my gratitude looks like. Can I read something at the end
It's
too?
your show, not mine. I'm just a conduit.
Well, it's not my show, but what my gratitude looks like. Oh, my gratitude is big on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one thing. It's just all of life, all of everything. Grateful to be alive, grateful to have the sunshine. I went through a list earlier, and the list was, grateful to have the love of my life sitting right next to me, Bob, grateful to have the home that we live in, grateful to have grandkids, grateful, we were just talking, I said, material thing, a bed to sleep in.
Brad brought that up.
My new bed. I'm so excited.
Yeah, a washing machine, a dryer,
there's an app for that.
love.
My new bed, there's
Great-
an app for it.
Yeah, grateful to have just life in general. Yeah, that's
I
what it
love
looks
you.
like for me.
I love
And
you.
then I have something I'd like to read.
Yes.
It has to do with the dash, but does Bob?
You want to do your gratitude?
Bob,
and then
Bob
we'll
going to
finish
share
with
his
that?
gratitude. Sure.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm grateful that God gave me the life that He's given me. I'm grateful that I have the ability to handle situations which used to baffle me, and God helps me with that. For those of you that don't know, back in October, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I've been doing chemo for the last 5.5 months. I've got 2 chemos left, and then we should be able to have it in check. The doctors are saying it's nothing short of a miracle of the response that I've been having from the chemo to help kill the cancer, should we say. So, I'm just, I'm blessed. The second they told me that I had cancer, it didn't sting. It just was like, okay, what are we going to do from here? Because God was there. And when I have God there all the time, not only just using him like I used to, he was a pocket God. I'd pull him out whenever I needed him. No, I know that God is there with me all the time, every time now. And the bottom line is I just said, what do we do from here? And what's the next thing to do? So that's what I'm grateful for, is that the ability to be able to deal with. Some days are harder than others. I can't lie. It's freaking hard. But
You have been getting busy living.
right.
You
and
didn't
that's-
let that, like,
right.
pardon the language, and it's not really a type, but you didn't let it get your dick in the dirt. Like
No.
you always say.
Right.
Like, knock
Yeah.
your dick in the dirt.
Yeah.
I love that saying. You say it, but
All right.
anyone I've ever known that's going through some stuff like this, the two of you, the way you guys have faced this, is like a testament to recovery,
Right.
a higher power.
I'm grateful to have my wife with me on this walk, on this journey, and it's not an easy journey, but we've decided that we're going to stay committed to doing it together, and that's a blessing. That's a big, and I'm so grateful for that. So, I'm grateful that I have a God that takes care of me, no matter what. So that's what I'm most grateful for, is if I how do I put it? If I keep loving the God that I choose to call my higher power, my life life is none of my business, no longer any of my business.
I love that.
You know,
I
it
love
really
that.
isn't.
It's none of my business.
It really isn't, because he takes care of me, and that's the
Amen.
blessing that I'm grateful for today. So
Yep.
Love you, Roberto.
Yep.
MJ, you had something you would like to share with us and read?
Yes. Okay, so earlier we were talking about the dash, and the dash being the little line between our birth date and our end date or our death date, however you want to put it. And I heard this on the radio today, and it's so important because really, what is the dash? And here's a little poem to give you an idea. And it says, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering the special dash might only last a little while. So, when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spend your dash? You spent your dash? And it's like, when I think about that and I think about what life is like today, and I could be so depressed on so many different things and so many different levels right now, and I choose not to be, and I choose to live, to live life to its fullest. I didn't do that when I was back in my using days. I didn't live life to the fullest. I lived life from moment to moment when I was getting drunk and getting high and all that stuff. And life is so much different now. And to be able to love and to laugh and to do the things I really want to do and to have fun and so it's all amazing. Thanks for having us, Tim.
I do that overkill thing where a couple years ago, I made this self-commitment that if I think about someone out of the blue, whatever it is, I'm going to reach out.
Yeah.
And then I let it go, whatever's on my mind. And I have that talk to text so my messages get long. But I speak from the heart, and that's some shit that you guys gave me. Like, you might not know in a roundabout way, you people. I love saying you people. I always say it in a good way. But you people, you recovery people, you guys that came before me, gave me this new life. Sure, I put in some work, but I'm grateful for you guys. Or our good friend Jess is on. So is John, Ricardo, Carrie, Jay, everyone who checked in. Congrats on the clean time, everybody. Without you guys, this show doesn't happen. And anyone who's out there struggling tonight, you guys have heard lots and lots of recovery being talked about. How, when, where, and it's yours for the taking. We don't isolate our recovery. We talk about it.
Anyone need a sponsor, reach out.
Anyone need a sponsor, reach out. Boys, you go find some boys, and girls, you do the same with girls. If you are struggling, do please reach out. Come on down here to 2520 North 2nd Street. We'll work for recovery. But you heard us talk about, like I said at the beginning of the show, we talked about New Hope, Alano, Fridley, Alano. We'll work for recovery, 2218, different spiritual spots. We talk about it because that's where we go. We go wherever the recovery's at. It's not isolated. So do the same. You're worth it. If no one's told you today, I'll tell you, I love you. You're worth this new life we're talking about.
Big shout out to Carolyn V. Miss V will have the blessing of
28 years?
Yeah. So,
Caroline?
yeah. So reach out to them, to that little lady. Yeah.
29.
Paul Caroline?
She's 1 year, we're the same year.
Oh, I thought she was in
She's a 96 baby, just like me.
the. Okay.
But I'm November and she's in April. So tomorrow is her day, her big day. We love her dearly, and a big shout out.
Woohoo! Where's the clapping hands?
Paul B.
That's good.
She's an amazing woman.
Absolutely.
She is.
Shout out. Woo.
Also, remember, come on down here and get some soap. We've got, you guys haven't heard the story, you haven't met, this is Chuck over here. Chuck C.
What up, Chuck?
Hi,
He's
Chuck.
the soap man. He also had a vision and shared it with Paul, and Paul instantly got him in here. He has a station there. What he does is he's got this stuff here. It's the whoa, whoops the daisies. It's the soap of Yah. No. I'm gonna read it real quick. I am the Soapstone Factory presents the armor of Yah, soap of hope, taking down the giants of hopelessness, rage, and despair while working hand in hand to combat sickness, disease, and germ, and soapstone at a time. One soapstone at a time. Ingredients: it's made from and anointed with 100% pure love, saponified with olive oil, coconut oil, distilled water, cinnamon, oatmeal, and love. May the Lord
Ooh,
bless
sounds
you.
yummy. I saw those.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. Here you go, MJ. Here's a little piece.
Oh, thanks. I was going to go grab one.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you, be gracious to you, and may he turn his face towards you and give you peace. I'm on mute. No one heard anything I was saying because I only kept your mic on this whole last time. I'm getting message after message. Sorry, everybody, if you're just hearing my little echo through MJ's microphone for the last 2 minutes. I'm hearing it in my ear, too, and I'm knowing. Anyone who stuck through it, which we had about 12 people who's probably like, what the hell? Listen, if you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. Come on down, 2520 North 2nd Street. We'll work for recovery. Come get on the podcast. If you have ideas for the podcast, let me know. You heard MJ talk about sponsorship. You heard Bob. You heard us all talk
Love
about a
you
lot of
all.
stuff. If you're struggling,
You're worth
please
it.
reach out. Like Bob said, you are worth it.
And you're not alone.
Never. You never have to be alone again.
Right.
Come on down here and get some soap. Come on down here and get some love and recovery. Till next week. We love you. Thank you. Bye.